Okay, so let me explain something a little better. I want to erase that. I think I might have skipped a step. So dimang, and I want a dimension between this little temporary line and the real line that I have, and the angle given is 135 degrees. Okay, I just want to make sure that this is exactly 135 degrees. So to do that, I can click on the angle, right click, and go to precision and change it to 4. Okay, well, nothing happens. It's because of the dimension style that was used to create this angle. And what I can do is just click on the angle, right click, go to dimension style, and select standard, and now I can change the precision to 4 or whatever, and you can see that it's exactly 135 degrees. Okay, and when we were doing this before, I said that we weren't given an explicit angle. Okay, but I mentioned that the angle between here and here was 135, which meant that the angle between here and here had to be 45. Okay, if I draw a line from this point straight out, then I end up creating a right triangle in here. Okay, a right triangle, there's one angle that's 90 degrees, okay, and then the other two angles add up to 90. Okay, well, since this angle is 45, that means that if this is 90, this is 45, then this also has to be 45. So that's why we used a 45-degree polar tracking angle to create that line. Okay, just wanted to explain that a little better. Okay, so let me erase this angle and temporary line. I don't want to leave that in the drawing. Okay, so now we can work on some other parts of our drawing. So this was the 3.3 line, and just to verify, I want to use the distance command. I want to go from here perpendicular to this line, and you can see that it is 3.3. Maybe just temporarily, just so I don't get lost, I can change the color in the properties palette. And what happens at that 3.3 line and the intersection of the 0.8 line, which is this one, let me temporarily change that to yellow as well. Okay, that's like a one-time override. It doesn't change the layer, it just changes the color temporary. It's an override. Okay, so at that intersection, you see that we have an arc that is centered there with a radius of 0.4. So let's just draw a circle there with a radius of 0.4. So I entered the circle command. The center point needs to be here, and I'll specify the radius of the circle at 0.4. All right. Now, from there, let's see what we need to work on. We're given on the opposite side from this point. We see that there is another arc that is centered on the opposite side of this center line. We see that there's an arc with a radius of 2. Okay, so let's just we can see that this line is the center of this circle is offset a distance of 0.8 from here to here. So let's offset this yellow line by 1.6. So I'll type in 1.6 and then enter. Oh, and I'll offset that line there. Okay, so let me draw another circle centered here with a radius of 2. Okay, and you can see that, as you would expect, based on the measurements, that these two circles are tangent to one another at this point. Okay, the reason why is because the radius of this circle is 0.4. Okay, and the radius of this circle from this point is 2. Okay, well, that's 1.6 from this line to this line, so 1.6 plus the 0.4 here is 2. Okay, so that's why they end up tangent to one another. Okay, so let's just leave that like it is right now, and then let's create a line on the visible layer. Now I'm going to create this on the line that was offset by 0.6. So I want to start at the end point of this visible line and then go to the intersection of the edge of that circle and this construction line. Okay. Now I have some trimming edges. Okay. So you can see in your book that the arc that we need starts here and it goes around until it intersects this circle at the tangent point here, and then this arc goes away and it continues along this line. So let's use trim to trim this how we need to do it. So TR, enter, and I want to click on this line and this circle, and then enter, and then click on the circle here. And what that did, it used those edges as a trimming edge, so it trimmed everything outside of this arc, which is the part that we want. Okay, still on the visible layer, let's create a line from the quadrant of this circle. And before we do that, I need to offset this construction line to the left by 0.94, which is another dimension we were given. So O, enter, 0.94, enter. Okay, so this is the line here. So from the quadrant of this circle, draw a line to here. Okay, so let's use that trim operation again. TR, enter. I want to click on this line and this arc, and then enter, and then click on the circle there. And now you can see that we've created that curve exactly as shown in the book. Let's use TR again. TR, enter. I'll click on this line and then this line, enter, and then get rid of that part of the circle. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's create our circles. Okay, so C, enter, and I want to type in INT, enter. Make sure it's on the intersection of those lines, and we're given a diameter of 0.5. Okay, well, by default, just entering the C command makes AutoCAD asks us for a radius, but I want to enter the diameter since that's what we're given. So I'll type in D, enter, and then 0.5. Okay, and we have 4 circles with that same diameter. So let me just copy this one down to here where it should be. Now remember, the distance between this line and this line is 3.5. Okay, make sure that you copy it to the correct line. So CP, enter. I'll select the circle, enter, and you want to make sure that you snap to either to the intersection here or the center of the circle. So INT, okay, and then I want to INT again, and it copied the circle in the correct place. Alright, so let me get these back on the right color. It's kind of bugging me. So I'm going to select these lines, and then I will go back over to the color in the properties palette, select color, and then I'll select color 251, which is the color of the rest of them. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do now, this is a new command, and this is called the mirror command. So we're going to, sorry about the buzzer, give me just one second here. Alright, so we want to type in MIRROR, enter. You can find the same command here in the modify panel, and use your clicker to click on the different entities of the object. Okay, you can click these one at a time. Just make sure that you select all of them. And you don't want to window this unless you use the blue window. Okay, and I'll explain that in a minute. Let me carry on with the mirror command. So I selected the objects. Now I want to press enter to let AutoCAD know I'm done selecting the objects. And it asks me to specify the first point of the mirror line, and I want to select the end point of the first line that we drew, and then I want to select the other end point. Okay, type in END. And now AutoCAD asks me if I want to erase the source objects. Does it want to know if I want to erase this stuff on the bottom? Well, the answer is no. So I want to type in N, enter. And you can see that as soon as I press enter, it created a mirrored image of what was below the center line there. Okay. So let me undo that. I want to type U, enter, and I want to explain the difference between the windows again. So let's say that I want to enter the mirror command again, and it tells me to select the objects. Now, if I use the right to left window, it selects everything, including construction lines, which I don't want to do. So I want to hit escape. Let me enter the mirror command again. Now, if I can't just select everything, because what happens is it won't select the vertical construction lines because all the vertical construction lines aren't inside the blue window. But it will select the horizontal construction lines that I drew because they are entirely inside the blue window. Watch what happens